On today's show, we just do a rapid fire series of dreams just to keep it light and entertaining. On today's show, we just do some rapid fire dreams just to change the pace a little. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy.
Hello and welcome, everybody. We are so excited you are here.
This is another half hour, as always, of us eavesdropping on the very personal communication between the spirit world and you, or more specifically, your soul. Why did you come here? Have you any idea whatsoever? Because your dreams do. They know everything about you. They know what your mission in life is, what your gifts are, what way you're meant to be repaying your karmic debts, the whole 9 yards. What is that one thing that is at the core of the reason you're here? Maybe you're to learn how to love yourself or learn how to have more confidence. There's always something very simple and elegant right at the core of why we're here. And you could look at that and go, well, it couldn't take me a lifetime, surely, to learn that one thing, but it does. Now, there's a lot of other things that we do as well. Anyway, through analyzing your dreams on this show, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the superpowers that you have, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. But these bumps are not in the way, they are the way. We say that all the time because it's true. To get your dream analyzed on our show, simply email radioshow@dream-analysis.com, and Nicole replies to everybody who sends dreams in. So you have no excuse. Send a dream, you're going to get a reply. That's how it works. Sandy, over to you.
All righty. Well, I'm excited because we're going to do a lot of dreams today and I enjoy doing them. The title of this one is Bridges, River, Odd Guess, and it's from Sam. Walking with Tracy away from the group, going over this low but wide bridge. The water was beautiful, a light green dash blue, an aquamarine. It was very full and moving rapidly. Think about it now. It was not loud. I asked what river this was, as I either didn't remember the name or didn't remember going this way before. He thought it might be the Nantahala. I said, it is so beautiful, I want to get in. He said, it's really, and I thought he was going to say fast, cold. We walked back arm in arm towards the others. At the crosswalk, he said he was going to meet his buddy now. I felt anger, sadness, and disappointment rise up, and then thought, oh, this is what I need to work on. Abandonment issues or control. Allow others their choices, release expectations, and enjoy the now moment. The guy he was meeting had just gotten married earlier that day and was still coming up to meet with Tracy. I snidely asked if the buddy had married a woman, thinking, would a woman allow such a thing? Oh, that's a sexist thought. And guess you're not there yet with the allowing if you thought that. They laughed as same-sex marriage wasn't even a possibility to consider for them. We sat beside each other in a row. Tracy had to guess how many and in what order were our children. The guy I just met guessed I had one daughter named Rose, which was really weird. All right, Michael, that's it. Kind of a strange dream.
Yeah, okay. So, important point right at the start. Rose is the dreamer's name, her birth name. She was adopted and her name was changed. That's not actually her birth name. We've changed it. We change all the names that we find in dreams most of the time. Anyway, so that's significant. And that's why she says at the end it was weird. And Tracy is an early boyfriend of hers. So she's walking with Tracy away from the group going over this low but wide bridge. Now, we don't like that. We don't like going over a bridge in this dream, at least in this context, because the dreamer wasn't going through a very good time in life. And walking over a bridge, getting away from life wouldn't have been a good thing. So, but in the end, anyway, she didn't actually cross over the bridge. It's a death symbol in a dream, or kind of a death wish that you couldn't see in a dream. What else have we got? I asked if, he says the river is cold. So life is cold. Basically, that's what she's saying. Life is cold. Not even sure I'm happy to be here. She does say the water is green and blue. And that's about asking you to express your heart in what you do in life. When you see blue in a dream, what are the positive colors with it? Like green, add them to your philosophy of life. So you need to learn how to express yourself. especially in relationships, because Tracy is a very old boyfriend. What else have we got? Oh yeah, the dream, the name of the river in the dream, the Nantahala, and it's actually a river she knows, and it's a Native American word meaning that the sun only shines into the gorge at noon. Kind of funny, but what that represents when I channeled on it is healing for depression. So in other words, I'm in this dark place. This gorge is always in a dark place, and the sun just shines in at this one particular time, which is lifting the darkness. So that's what I said at the start. This dreamer was not going through good times, so we didn't want to see her crossing that bridge. Glad she didn't. And then we see another symbol later on in the dream where it's lifting for depression. So it's quite positive that we see that piece in there. What else have we got? Yeah, it says it's called. We covered that already. And then she's walking back arm in arm with the boyfriend. That's really good. We like to see that. So we expect in this dream, though, we're going to see something that tells us why she's in the state she's in. So she gets to a crosswalk. That's about changes in life. And he says he's going to meet his buddy now. And that's like a slap in the face to her. As she said, I felt anger, sadness, and disappointment, like all of these emotions, because she thought she was out for a pleasant time with her boyfriend, and he's just now going to drop her and go off with his buddy. And she can't understand that. So this is about, dad not being there for me. Some male at an early stage in life not being there for me. And it always goes back to what happened at the start. Did I say she was put up for adoption? So that's basically it. Dad definitely wasn't there for her. She says, in the dream, she's analyzing herself. She goes, oh, it's okay that I was rejected, that this guy's ditching me, because maybe that's what I need to work on. Abandonment issues or control. So she calls out the issues there. I was abandoned and I need to work on that. And she's accepting his horrible behavior. Now, of course, in a dream, it's a dream. You could stand up and stab him. You could scream, you can shout, whatever you want to do. It's all about getting the anger out, getting the negative emotions around that early start in life that caused you all these issues. She doesn't do any of that. She suppresses it. So we know that she does that today in life. And so if bad things are happening, she's not really going to tell you bad things are happening. She's going to suppress herself and tell herself, enjoy the moment, enjoy what you have. So that means something like this is going on in her current relationship. Has to be. Otherwise it wouldn't be showing up in the dream. Anyway, he says the guy he was meeting had just gotten married earlier that day. So this is like salt on an open wound, because it's like this other guy is ditching his better half too, ditching his wife, and he's only just got married. And then, of course, she makes that comment and she thinks, oh my gosh, I just made a sexist comment. But really, it's all from a place of, I'm angry that men treat me this way, that I've been treated this way by men. Because even with the other relationship and the guy leaving the girl there, that still stands for her, right? They laughed and then they sit beside each other and Tracy has his guess and so on. And we end up with, my birth name is said by this other character. So that's really what a perfect way for a dream to bring it right back to birth. This is what needs to be addressed. The abandonment at that time, because that's what I see all around me in life now, me being abandoned by the men that should be there for me. Now, the truth of it is, how we're treated when we have no control over any situation, how we're treated at the start of life, if we feel abandoned, then we are going to attract men in our lives that abandon us. That's just simply how it is. Dad didn't stay with me. My partner won't stick by me. Sandy, have you got questions?
Yeah. So we're talking about the blue-green water. I think you mentioned it a little bit. Colors are always important. So what's going on with that?
Well, the river is going to be life. This is the flow of life. And the blue and green, which is inviting, she wanted to get into it. Like she says, it's so beautiful. So that's, the dream is trying to entice her to get into life, because she lives life kind of like on the sideline, looking at things. Like she's been rejected here. And she, instead of like slapping her partner or anything like that, which would be a reasonable reaction, especially in a dream, she just kind of mentally talks to herself and says, okay, this must be an issue I need to work on. So she's almost thanking the guy for being a jerk. So the dream here with the blue and green is saying you need to express how you feel, which is exactly not what she did.
Nope, not at all. Not only that, she kind of beat up on herself. And then you talked about crossing over the bridge, but it looks like they did cross over the low but wide bridge.
No, they didn't. I checked that with her because it was important. Like, see how bad this death wish is for her, and it's gone now. We've worked on this, and it's gone. But when we see that, and we then want to watch other symbols and dreams to see how bad it is. So they were walking to the bridge. They got onto the edge of the bridge, but didn't actually walk over it, and then they just I forget where they went from there, but definitely didn't cross it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Why are they doing the order of their children? Did they have children at that time, or was
No.
this just
So
slang?
the dream is trying to bring her back to childhood. So they're talking about childhood by talking about children and then name her. Like, this is you before your name was changed. So this is like, which father is this? If I had an adoptive father and a birth father, this is my birth father because it's when you were named Rose.
Ah, got it. So that really ties it back to her birth father. Interesting. All righty. I'm ready to move on. The next one's short. It's titled Phone and Clouds, and it's from Martha. Trying to turn off a friend's phone, but it was an older model, and my pressing buttons on either side wasn't working. I asked her how to turn it off. She said there is a symbol at the bottom, AV. It was much simpler than I had thought. It was nighttime, but the sky is filled with white clouds, make it seem brighter.
Okay, so I just kind of throw this in because you have to know what's going on in a person's life really to understand a dream. And at this point in her life, Martha was trying to do something about her own addiction to her phone. She couldn't put it down out of her hand. And so here we see it showing up in the dream that she's trying to turn it off. I think it's just funny. You could spend a long time trying to analyze this dream and you could get some stuff out of it too. But when we know what's going on, sometimes the dreams are just a nail on the head.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Very short and to the point. All righty, moving on. The next dream is another short one. Surprised to see the former president. And this is from Terry. My son and I were at the grocery store, and he was only about 6 or 7 years old. I remember looking at the ranch dip that was placed in our cart. The Obama family was sitting on the outside aisle having a meal there. People were stopping to take pictures with them. That's it. Short and sweet, Michael. Let's see what you can get out of that one.
So the dreamer is a healer. We know that because we see food in the dream and we see the ranch dip. And, she had a dream before this about horses. And of course, horses are kept on a ranch and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of funny to see that sneak into the next dream that she had. We didn't cover that one on the show. But she has the healing ability. And then she also is a spiritual leader. She's also intuitive. And the dream is really saying that when you look at the context of it, like the Obamas are right there, just across from me, and people are stopping to take pictures. So people are enamored with them. Now, this only counts if you like the Obamas, and she does. So this is how you interpret it. So it's saying that she should be stunned and amazed at who she is because they represent the aspect of her that is spiritual leadership. So she should show respect to herself for the gift of spiritual leadership that she has. The same kind of respect that is shown in the dream. She's not doing that in waking life, so she's doing it in the dream.
When is 6 or 7 years old, her son being that age?
She has to work on issues from age 6 or 7 that caused her to lose respect for that particular gift. So almost always you're going to see our dreams bring us back to childhood and say, this is the issue. And the issues are there because we didn't have a logical mind that we do now. Like, we're very protective, very careful. If somebody says something negative to us as an adult, we'd be able to work it out and go, wait, I'm not a jerk, they're a jerk, or whatever it is. But as a child, we don't. We can't rationalize at all because that part of our brain hasn't been developed. And whatever our parents say and do, like their actions and what they say, we just take it as fact. This is true about me. So there's something from back there that causes her to lose respect for herself, like, to not value herself, let's say, to put it another way.
And then the taking pictures. People were stopped taking pictures with them.
So again, it's to be enamored with the ability that she has because people are doing it in the dream. It's like, oh my gosh, the Obamas are right here in our little town, in our grocery store. And so she needs to look at her abilities in a positive way because we see lots of gifts here in that dream. Like I said, healing, intuitive, channeling, and spiritual leader. So she's got a lot of spiritual gifts, but is she doing anything with them in waking life?
Wow. And that is such a short little dream to get so much out of it. Alrighty, moving on. My next one is My Crown Turns White, and that's from Kay. The hair at the crown of my head turned white. It was a bit disconcerting. It happened so suddenly. The rest was normal. It caused quite a bit of interest. There was a hairdresser that was going to show me how to style it to make it look good and what clothes to wear to show it off. I saw some strappy sandals and noticed they came in several colors. I also noticed some of the sandals had double straps. I was looking to pick a pair. Okay, Michael, another short one.
I really like this dream because she's talking about a crown. A crown is obviously about spiritual leadership. But then if you look up the book and you can get the dictionary, gosh, do we ever say this? You can get my dictionary at dream-analysis.com. Just download the dictionary there. It's totally free and it's just got thousands of symbols from dreams that I've done over 30 something years. But anyway, we see the sandals, which are also another symbol for spiritual leadership because of the connection with sand and so on. Jesus wore sandals, all that sort of stuff. There's more to it. So we know spiritual leadership is the thing, but usually what we see people doing in a dream is that, like the last dream, and these are different dreamers, we see people rejecting it. They're not happy with it in some way. But here, she's been told by a guide, because the hairdresser is a guide, they have a title. What a hairdresser can do is change your hairstyle, and that's in a dream is about changing how you think about something. So the hairdresser is trying to improve the dreamer's view of her spiritual leadership ability. And she's successful at it. She's saying, look, we can do this to show off the style, to show off this white hair. And then also these clothes will go with it too. And clothes represent a choice of roles or attitudes and so on. So it all fits lovely. And she's saying, oh, and I'll get these strappy sandals that go with it. I'll pick out a pair. Super, super positive dream because she's not arguing with anything whatsoever. Quite the opposite of what we normally see in every dream we ever do on the show.
Yep, I like the strappy sandals too. So cool. And they come in different colors. Anyways, I think that was good. The double straps, though, does that kind of imply channeling or anything?
Yes, it does. She has a channeling ability too. And we would expect to see, when we see one gift, we expect to see other gifts along with it. And even she's saying that the crown is turning white. Like, that's really good. Our crown chakra is purple, and purple in dreams represents spiritual leadership. But when we see this, it's turned white. White is the color of the crown chakra when we are enlightened. So quite a positive thing to see in a dream.
That's cool. That's really cool. Alrighty. And the next dream, Finding the Key, is also from Kay. Was outside, it was winter, and I was looking for my snow boots. Think I needed one and had the other. I saw some slides of similar brands, but they wouldn't do much good in the snow. Found them. But while looking, I noticed that I broke my long, thin silver chain, and several keys that were held on the chain fell off into the snow. Uh-oh. I picked up all of them. There were two that were important, and they went together. I handed the broken chains and keys to a lady sitting there and asked her to fix it. She had already done so once, and you could see where. I expected she'd do it again. As we were talking about it, I noticed one key was missing. It was a smaller silver key, and it went to a silver lockbox. I was a little stressed it was missing. Also, as I was chatting with the lady, a man walked up, knew him in the dream, but no one I can identify in real life. As he showed me his gold chain, held it out in front of him for both of us to see. It was a thick gold chain with a large, strong loops between several smaller, strong gold loops. He was explaining how his was stronger and wouldn't break. Ooh, oh my. Okay, Michael, let's have some fun with this.
Good for him. Good for him. It's a very simple dream. The dreamer has difficulty with her intuition. She doesn't really listen to it. And she favors solid logical reasoning over intuition. So she needs to develop the feminine side to be just as strong. Why do I say that? Gold represents the masculine, silver represents the feminine. Gold is the color of the sun, silver is the color of the moon. And the gold is a big, strong one. And the man has the gold one. And he's saying, look, this is good. In other words, solid logical reasoning will never let you down. And she's saying, fortunately for her, she still wants the silver one. Like, it is the key. So it is the thing she needs to develop. And it's a very thin chain, I think she says, which is partly why it broke and fell off. So something has caused her to not listen to her intuition. She's got to work on the feminine side, develop that. When I talked to her about it, she said, Mom always said to me that my intuition was my imagination. So if I got an intuitive hit to do something or say something, I was put down for it because it's like, that's just me in another world.
Wow, that's terrible. Anyway, so we've got snow boots, and it's winter. So what's going on with the snow?
Intuition works through feminine energy, through the heart. And so we often see this in dreams where somebody's cold. We saw it in a dream earlier where we had the blue-green river and the river was cold. So here, feminine energy is not so much that it is cold, but life is cold and I keep people at a distance. Like, cold is like, I don't emotionally share myself. If I was to say somebody was cold, you would know what I mean. It's like, you're not going to get near them. They're a locked box, like she even says in the dream. She has to find the key to this locked box because she is a locked box, keeps people frozen out from how she really feels. And that all fits together. So working on that issue, working on what causes her to keep people at a distance or not share how she feels really with people, is going to help her enormously. And we saw the spiritual leadership in her last dream. That's a feminine energy gift too. So all of these things are feeding it one into the other. Work on these, work on any of these, sharing that gift is all going to help you improve the flow of feminine energy within you and recover the key to your intuition that you had.
I find it interesting that it's a lady there that she hands the broken stuff to have her fix it.
That is good that she wants to fix it. And it's even good that she's saying it's been fixed before. So she has this understanding that that's okay. Like, I'm going to get this. And I loved how she didn't give up looking for the key too. Like, this is definitely what I want. I'm not going to switch to the gold. But yeah, so it's like, I'm going to trust the feminine to give me what I need ultimately. It's kind of unusual. But then we saw in her last dream, she's going along with what the dreams are asking her to do. And she's doing it here as well.
That's actually quite a talent. Most of us don't do that.
No, we only do it when we're in therapy, in an effective therapy.
Yep. And then she's got two that were of importance. Two of the keys, I guess. So I see the number 2 there. Is that a reference to channeling?
Yeah, but here's what's beautiful when you look at a few dreams from the same dreamer. So here's 2 in a row, and she's talking about the double strap on the sandals. So we know she's a channel, and we expect to see it littered through all her dreams in one way or another.
That's cool. All righty, let's dive into the next one. I like the title, Ocean Action. And this is from Marty. Grace and I are on an ocean side, watching her young son participate in organized water sports. One was walking on water. They were wearing special attachments to their legs, similar to a Paralympian legs. As long as they were moving quickly, they stayed up. Otherwise, they slowly went into the water. One of her sons did sink down, but swam to shore looking for Grace. The shore was mostly a rocky cliff, not a sandy beach. Grace and I were sitting higher up and at a distance so we could see. Her son was calling her in a sad kind of way. I turned to tell Grace this, but she had already jumped into the water and was swimming to help him. I walked over to the area above him and told him, "Look, she's there. She's coming." He turned from sad to giggly. It was a beautiful sound.
All right. It's a simple enough dream. It's about overcoming fears connected to mom. She's still in her head. The dreamer's in her head. We know that because she's up on a cliff. Like, who's going to watch their young sons in the water while you're up on a cliff? If they get into any trouble, there's nothing you can do. So, anyway, that's where they are. So, the cliff says that her center of consciousness is up in her head, and that she has to address that. So, why is she in her head? And then we see fears showing up in the dream because the son is looking for the mom. That's how we know it's connected to mom. The issues are connected to mom. And he's started kind of getting into a panic looking for his mom. And then the dreamer, calms him down and says, hey, she's coming. So vicariously, by doing that in the dream, helping the son, she is healing her own issues, at least in part. But when I channeled on this too, like, she does have a lot of spiritual gifts that she's starting to use on people. And that's great. Sometimes it takes a lot of encouragement to get people to do that. But she's enjoying it now, so she's gone from the stage of like, oh my gosh, I have to do it, to, okay, I'm getting results. I see the results. I'm getting the feedback. And her only fear now is that she's going to run out of energy while doing something. They're like, yes, it's going to work. And she's an energy healer. And it's not like, oh, I get unplugged. But like, it's all working, it's all working, it's all working. But what if in the middle of a session, I suddenly run out of steam? What happens then? And that's her fear.
And I like the idea of walking on water. What are they doing by walking on water? What does it imply?
Well, water represents our spiritual side, represents life too. But when we know it's about gifts, and it is for her because of what she's currently doing, the walking on the water is like, I'm amazing. By the son doing that in the dream, she's saying it about herself. Like, look at... I'm feeling so good about what I'm doing and how I'm helping people and how they're healing, that to me, it feels like I'm walking on water. Now, she still sinks a little bit, but the fact that it's even said is great.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. All righty, Nicole, we're passing it over to you.
Hi, Sandy. Hi, Michael. Today from the radio show Mailbag, we've got a couple of dreamers who are having trouble driving their cars. So whenever we see this symbol, I'd get curious. How am I pursuing my goals? The first dreamer was not quite paying attention as she was driving her car, and she was almost about to crash into some parked cars in front of her. She had to swerve in order to avoid them. So for her, I would wonder, is she lacking focus when it comes to pursuing her goals? And might she need to change course in order to avoid giving up on them? The second dreamer this week, who had the same sort of car trouble, says that her steering wheel would only turn right, so she couldn't steer left, and that she often can't brake when she's driving in dreams. So for her, I'd be curious if she has maybe more of a masculine approach to her pursuit of goals, and whether more of a feminine approach might be in order. Not being able to brake supports this idea because it suggests that the dreamer might be blocking her goals by being too controlling. So that's all for today. Sandy, back to you.
Thank you, Nicole. That was very interesting. And we are now out of time. So I hope everybody has a fabulous week, and we'll see you next week.
Take care. Bye.